I put out a preview earlier this morning talking about the Panthers offense from a personnel standpoint. DJ Moore, Dante Freeman, Baker Mayfield, those being the guys that I think hold the keys in terms of the Panthers actually being competitive, hanging around, or maybe even pulling off the upset in Baltimore in Week 11. That video was focused on those three guys and their characteristics and what they can do well under the best circumstances, what they've done on film this year, particularly Freeman and Moore making plays, and then how Mayfield just needs to avoid turnovers to at least give the team a shot. This video is going to be a little different. This is not going to be personnel based, to be honest with you. I mean, we will digress into personnel a little bit. I'm not sure that people are clamoring for this type of content, but I'm going to try this out. It's a formation preview. So what we will do is talk about 4 of the formations the Panthers use a lot, and I'll give you some of the limited data that I have. Obviously, I don't have all the data for the Panthers offense. I wish that I had the time to do, multiple teams, but just the Ravens in terms of trying to document every play and label everything. And even then, I'm probably only have 85 to 90% of the Ravens plays done, correctly or in totality. So this is going to be a look at 4 formations: pro twins, which is kind of what you see on your screen, twin slot, bunch, and twin wing. And I have decreasing data for those formations in terms of total numbers. So we'll go over some of the plays that I have. And I've tried to get, I think I have plays from 4 different games. Of course, 2 of them are against the Falcons. Panthers and Falcons played each other twice over the span of 11 days. Really unique situation, if you ask me. So first one, pro twins. It's 11 personnel normally. Now here, we've got a fullback. And here, this may be a tight end. I'm not sure on the number. But it's generally an 11 personnel formation. You got 15 runs and 14 passes in our database out of this formation. So pretty balanced. I would say this is their base formation, or one of them. It can be under center, like you see here. Little draw. Or like the previous play where you're in shotgun. But again, what characterizes it? Pro twins. Tight end and Z. That's the pro side. And then twins, 2 receivers to the other side. That's just a universal name that a lot of people use for it to identify it quickly. Very commonly used 11 personnel formation. Little fake screen to Chenault. This is something that you see a lot of. And then trying to go up top, it ends up being a sack. So they have this play in where they give the ball to the running back. Now, these guys are pass setting, so obviously it's not a run play. But there is a little play action here just to hold these linebackers. But the linebackers are lined up at the line. It's 3rd and 11, so I'm not sure why there's a play action involved in it. But a little play action, faking the screen out to Chenault, and then it looks like you got a fake, and then trying to go vertical up top by that receiver. Easily covered up for a sack. 50%, or just over 50% run, just under 50% pass. Showed a couple of these in another earlier video today. Pretty cool throw by P.J. Walker. Ruled incomplete. DJ Moore, great catch nonetheless, even though it wasn't a catch in the NFL. He did catch the football, just maybe didn't keep his foot in bounds. Zone read. They like to motion Chenault as the Z. Over here, you got the screen to this side, the fake screen with the guy trying to run up the sideline like I showed you. Then there's the zone read where the back is in B, so the back is opposite the Z. And then he's going to come back to this side and run the football. Now you have pro twins A, so the back is on the same side as Chenault, as the tight end. And you got to give with the tight end releasing outside. Called an arc release outside. See what this DN does with him being the read man. And the tight end expanding. Walker chose to give it on the zone. So this is a look at pro twins. Now this is slightly different. This is not pro twins. Technically, this would be twin slot. So this one I think is mislabeled because that tight end is off the line. He's not in line. You're going to get a play action from under center with a flood concept. Walker, I think they're going to do this a lot with Baker Mayfield. They're going to get him moving. If you ask me, try to get him options on the half field side. You can see there's multiple options On the half field side here, you have a wheel up, and then you have a vertical. So you got 4 receivers all on one side. I think they're going to do this a lot. Very familiar stuff to or very similar stuff to what the Browns did with Baker Mayfield for years, and still do to a lesser extent with Jacoby Brissett. All right, B version. So the back is opposite the tight end. Still get that same motion. And there's the flip out to the Z, Chenault. And he's busted 2 long ones this year on that concept and one similar concept. Last play, this is actually mislabeled zone read in my system. I talked about it in the earlier preview I did. This is actually a trap play that the running back cuts back. They're trying to trap this D tackle here. Guards pulling and would kick him out, meaning kick him out that way. And the running back would run it up inside that kick out block. They don't get the trap executed. He winds it back. Touchdown. All right, so there's one formation, pro twins, that you can look for during the game if you wish. I'm not sure how you guys, watch the game, what you look for pre-snap. I'm usually typing stuff because it's usually Ravens game that I'm watching. So when I watch other teams, I don't necessarily chart stuff. When I watch other teams, I just take note of the formation pre-snap and what it means. So next one, twin slot. So actually, there was one iteration of this that I showed in the previous portion of this. Pro twins, what was supposed to be pro twins, it was mislabeled. So here's your twins, and there's your slot. So it's the same thing basically, except the Z is on the line and the tight end is off. So now the tight end can motion across to create trips over here easily, or he could start in trips, like you'll see one time in this video, and then motion back over here and create slot. I've got 26 plays here, 12 runs. I've got 16 plays. My apologies. 12 runs, 4 pass. Very run-oriented from this formation for whatever reason. 60 or 65-yard run by D'Onta Foreman on this. Stretch concept to the top side, into the boundary where the tight end is. The thing that makes twin slot such a difficult formation to deal with is like this one, where they put the twins to the field. So let's get back to the beginning here. You got the twins to the field. So you got 2 receivers to the field. Corner, let's call that guy a nickel. Now you're free safety. So if you want to say, now over here, we're playing, we being the offense, we're playing 9 on 8 or 9 on 7, depending on how you count this. Let me get rid of all this. Sorry. So over here, offensively, we could say we're playing 9 on 8 or 9 on 7, depending on, if you want to classify that guy as an immediate run defender or not. So it's just a way that they can manipulate you. And then if you don't have an overhang defender here, then it's very easy for them to just go ahead and throw the bubble. That's just a spread concept. By spreading you horizontally to the field by alignment, you have to match it. And if you don't match it, then you open yourself up to quick stuff like a little bubble screen. This is not a bubble screen, but my point is it's called out-formationing people or trying to out-formation people. If you don't match the formation, then you give yourself up, on one side. Twin slot again, this time it's compressed to the slot side. So you can see the X receiver or, Z, I guess, actually, because he's on the same side as the tight end, is compressed tight. And they're running a zone play, but they got a bubble up top off of it. So DJ Moore is just bubbling to try to hold that defender. So he's just faking the bubble that I mentioned earlier, try to hold this defender. So this is the same as the last formation, except flipped. Now the twins is into the boundary. Are there any tendencies for them run pass with the twins into the boundary, twins into the field? I'm not sure. I really don't know. Again, I only have 16 plays of it, so small sample size. It's a QB sneak. We'll skip that one. All right, split zone where this end is going to really violently go down the line. So this tight end, this H-back is going to wrap up. It's a gain of 16. To me, it looks like it should be split zone. I mean, there's some plays where you log people with the H-back. It's a gain of 1, sorry. But this is not one of them, if you ask me. This is just the end going down the line and getting himself logged. So it's a gap exchange between this end and this linebacker looping around. They're just exchanging their responsibilities in terms of their gap. Easy play for both linebackers, actually. All right, last one for twin slot. Ball's in the middle of the field, you can see. And the twins is up to the top side. That's more. This is a 3rd and 5. And this is a return motion. So he's starting motion to the right and then going back. And just running snag flat. Really, it's just a pick. Is really all it is. So they know they got man. It's just genius. It's just smart. They know they got man. This guy's going with him. So this receiver's job is just to get to the outside of this corner here. If he can get to the outside of this corner, this DB's out leveraged because he's moving with the motion. And then it's return motion. So you can see number 12 up top is just trying to get to the outside shoulder. Basically wall that defender off. The corner who was running with Moore is out leveraged. Easy 10-yard gain on a 3rd and 5. So we're likely to see that. So twin slot. All right, so far you got pro twins and you got twin slot. If you enjoy this, let me know. I'll do this each week. I'm not going to do every formation. I usually feel like people learn better in 3s, sometimes 4, but 5 is stretching it. And when I say learn, I mean I quote have memorized these formations because years of documenting them out of 11 personnel for various teams that I scouted. Number one, number two, these are all 11 personnel formations. These are common knowledge 11 personnel formations in terms of commonly used, not common knowledge. They're commonly used 11 personnel formations. Another one is bunch, and they use this, and I only have 6 plays of this, 5 runs, 1 pass. So the bunch is up here. Chenault is a big dude, man. That's Chenault right there. He looks like a damn fullback. Maybe it's just a jersey. They do this a lot. I call it Jill zone. So they take the Z, which is Moore, walk him down, and then he leads inside on the run concept. It's only a 6-yard gain. Don't get me wrong. It's not a huge gain, but they're using a receiver in the run concept. He doesn't look entirely comfortable to me at a bunch. So if you see them line up in bunch during the game on Sunday, and you see this motion, that looks like a lead play. Now, then again, it could also turn into, with him squirting out the other side of the formation, which we haven't seen, but it's available to them because of how closely he's aligned to the left tackle, actually stacked on the left tackle once he does that motion. Bunch, Ravens run it a lot. We run a little different offense. These are just some variations this is just how offense varies across the league and across the football landscape. Different people do different things out of certain formations. This is one thing the Ravens do not do. We do not run to a single receiver side, almost hardly ever. If we do, it's because we're in the pistol, so the quarterback's feet are there and the fullback's feet are there. If we do run to the single receiver side, it's because we're going to get the fullback on the option reading the D-end and looping around to go get the front side inside linebacker. So we're still getting a second person to block to the single receiver side. Hopefully I'm saying that in a way that makes sense. It's not unique, but it's something that the Titans do, the Browns do, to a lesser extent. The Saints did a little bit of it. Run to the single receiver side. Ravens don't do it hardly at all. What does it set up? Sets up the play action by the quarterback, the boot, and then, some sail stuff here back to the bunch side. I don't have that in the database. I don't have that play saved. I only have a certain amount of time to save plays to scout teams, but that is one that would make sense. That the formation and the width of the formation sets itself up for. All right, so now you've got 2 tailbacks in the backfield. And then I think your quarterback is at the X. So no surprise that the ball is going to the top side of the field. It's a 1-yard gain by Chenault. So they're not actually lining up 2 tailbacks back there. That was my bad. But they are using DJ Moore to try to loop around and block on the edge. It's not successful. I think it's a 1-yard gain. All right, so that's bunch. And again, it's heavy run, at least to the data that I have, but it's only 6 plays. So small sample size. So far, pro twins, which is a 2x2 formation, twin slot, a 2x2 formation, bunch, which is 3x1, and then now we're going to shift gears in terms of personnel, grouping. I'll show you one more. This is somewhat similar to a couple of teams we've seen this year, the Browns being one of them. 12 personnel, twin wing. The Ravens use this a lot. Okay, sometimes under center. More often we're in the gun or pistol. And it's 12 personnel. So 12 personnel is one running back, two tight ends. Occasionally they'll do this with the second tight end being a fullback. But that will be 21 personnel twin wing. What they're doing is trying to get your base defense on the field and then line up in twins. So trying to get you to take someone out of the box. If you're a 4-3 team, or a 3-4 team, in either case, it's going to be the weak side linebacker. So you got twins, 1, 2. So they're trying to see if you're going to roll down a safety and then roll the strong safety over the top. So play 3 over 2, okay? Or if you're going to play 3 over 2 by apexing the linebacker. Now, apex means split the difference if you're the outside linebacker or the inside linebacker in a 4-3, which will be the will. Split the difference between the number 2 receiver's foot, inside foot, and the outside foot of the tackle. It looks like he is to me. It looks like he's perfectly apexed. Maybe he's a half a yard in this direction further than the midpoint, but they've got 3 over 2. So they're just staying structured. Certainly looks like zone. The run concept, so it doesn't matter. Inside zone, I think, for 11 yards. Dante Foreman runs hard. Falcons' defense is quite soft, to be honest with you. Watch this guy take on a block. Yeah, I mean, that's not even taking it on. That's just accepting. That's what we would call it. You're just accepting being blocked. All right, they also do twin wing out of jumbo. So a 6th offensive lineman and a tight end. And I believe this is another tight end, but I could be wrong. But in any case, it is twin wing, the formation. There is a 6th offensive lineman on the field. You would think it'd be run heavy, and in this case it is. And the Falcons line up differently because they recognize the fact that it is 6 offensive linemen on the field. Browns did that. Colts last year, I think, in 2021. All right, the one pass play that I have out of twin wing, a very small sample size. Actually, I have 2 pass plays. 3 runs, 2 pass, so I have no run-pass ratio, that I can rely on at all. This is an unbelievable throw by P.J. Walker, unbelievable catch by DJ Moore. Reason I'm doing these is just to try to promote formational awareness. And if you like that, then great. Pay attention to it, obviously. And hopefully it, helps you enjoy parts of the game. If you don't like it, that's no problem. We all watch the game and approach the game differently. When they get twin wing, I haven't seen screen yet, but I've only seen 5 plays. Haven't seen, very much of anything that's not drop back pass or play action pass when it is a pass play. So twin wing looks like a run formation. Pro twins, the first one I showed you, looks like a pretty balanced formation. That's this one right here, even though you don't see the Z down to the bottom side of the screen. Twin slot does not look balanced. Looks like a run formation. Bunch, not sure. Very small sample size. I think 5 out of 6 was run. And then twin wing, again, very small sample size. These are just designed to promote some formation awareness pre-snap for you. I wish that the broadcast, this is just me personally, I wish the broadcast not only showed us the runs on 1st and 10, hey, they're running the ball a lot on 1st and 10, or they're throwing a lot on 1st and 10 today. Yes, that does matter. Going against your run pass tendencies does matter. To me, I'd also like to see, hey, they've lined up in twin wing 6 times in the first half. I feel like the only 2 guys that talk about formations, Charles Davis, Tony Romo does, and I say that reluctantly because I'm not a huge fan of listening to Tony Romo at this point. Actually, Greg Olsen does too. But I feel like Romo and Davis talk about formations more than other announcers, I guess their color commentary, right? And to me, it doesn't even have to be them. You could have an on-screen thing pop up, like down in the bottom right on this screen where it says formation review. There's no reason why, in smaller font, obviously, it couldn't say Pro Twins or whatever. Now, I understand that the problem is people refer to formations differently. Look, some people use numbers for their formations, all right, guys? Some people use one word, but that to me is a translation. That's a translation from the actual name to a name that kids or players will remember. All right, so I'm not talking about what an offense calls it. I'm talking about what a network could call it. And there's no reason why the network broadcast couldn't decide to call something Pro Twins or whatever the heck else you want to call it in terms of an actual name, to try to promote some understanding, have that be on the screen. I feel like the first network that does that is going to get a lot of positive attention and reviews because they're going to be giving us, as fans, information. They're going to be giving us intel pre-snap. And then we can kind of make predictions. Now, you already do that. We all already do that, right? 2nd and 2 versus 3rd and 2 is very different for a lot of teams. 3rd and 2 is a run down to run the ball and convert, right? Particularly if it's a short 2. I understand that 2 means 2, but there's a long 2 and a short 2, right? Now, 2nd and 2 is a big play action down for a lot of people. Let's take a shot downfield. Why? Because we know we can convert on 3rd and 2. So there's just differences, if you ask me, of the way NFL offenses do things. And I understand down and distance is a big factor. I think formations is a big factor too. And it's neglected, if you ask me, by broadcast teams. So I'm going to go out and do this every week. I didn't mean for this video to be this long, but I'm going to do this every week for the teams that we're facing. Maybe I'll do this for the Ravens too, but I feel like you guys, if you watch this channel and all the other Ravens content creators, Sip to Tally, Huddle It Up Films, etc., all those guys who do a great job of focusing on what they focus on. I'd focus on different things. Maybe you probably don't need the Ravens formations, is what I'm saying. You probably don't need them. You'll recognize them every week because we use the same ones pretty much all the time. So appreciate you guys' time. Let me know if you enjoy this look at the Panthers formations and being able to maybe be a little bit predictive or at least recognize them pre-snap to hopefully enjoy the game a little bit more. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section.